And welcome everybody here on Speed Channel. This is our premier event night. We are starting off the chase for FARCA at Homestead Miami Speedway. They have 16 cars in their new style chase grid for the 2019 season. Before we go over the grid, we're going to go through the qualifying lineup. Starting up front, we have pole sitter Anissa Johnson starting alongside Chris Moore at the number 30.
Starting third, we have the number 8 of Big Man, alongside the 35 of Timmy Weathers.
Aaron Douglas in the Royal Purple 21 starts alongside Joey Sanders in the Racers 36.
Thor Gunderson in the number 1 starts next, alongside of returning driver, the number 18 of Chris Davis.
And behind Davis is Aaron Gabron in the DeWalt Power Tools 12, starting next to the Big Red 10.
And starting next is Connor Meir, the number 29, and the number 92 of Caitlin Marie.
Behind them in a Dodge and a Ford, that is Benjamin Thomas and Brad Smith.
The number 5 of J.R. Lemon, and the number 62 of Joseph Onesto.
The Gas Buddy 15, that is out of the Meyer Toyota Racing Development Team, and Kenny Bambura in the 72 Ford.
Russ Blackwell starts next alongside of the number 19 of Jay Langelier.
Scott Vickers in his Select Blind 37 is next to the 42 of Kyle Keith, a chase driver.
Then the number 51 of Brett Pritchard, and the number 79 of Osborne.
Quinn Iso takes over Edward Manning's 95 will make Camry here at Homestead. He starts alongside Scott Porter.
Starting next at number 99 is Todd Castile, and the number 88 of Titus Strobelever.
Evan Coward in the Rev 83 starts next to Luis McClure's 87.
And then we have the number 93 of Kevin Campbell, alongside of the last chase driver, the number 60 of Ryan DeLusso.
And then we have Tony Raines, Dr. Pepper 77, next to the Camp Girl 86, previous winner Arthur Xavier.
The number 91 of Tim Salmon, and the 63 of Brandon Crasto.
A couple drivers just shy of making the chase. That is the number 2 of Big Rick Johnson out of Marathon Motorsports, and the number 78 of Trent McPherson of Western Auto Dodge.
And rounding out the field, we have the number 28 of Elusive Man, alongside the 00 of Andrew Weisbecker.
So we got a nice big field, 40 cars start here at Homestead to begin the chase. This is where we'll go ahead and we'll bring up this nice grid that we have, and we'll detail some of these drivers. First mention we want to talk to, of course, is going to be those drivers starting off in the front of the chase points-wise. Mention those, that is Austin Yoakum versus Kyle Keith. The difference between these nice drivers starting off first and second is a matter of just the DNS. That's what gave Kyle Keith the starting position first seed point in the chase, was he had 2 less DNFs than Austin Yoakum in his 10 car. Now behind them, we'll keep an eye also on these 2 drivers. This is Joey Sanders and Joseph Onesto, 36 and 62. Really the difference between these guys, they had the same amount of points, same wins, same poles. The difference was, points-wise, was that the regular season champion was Joey Sanders. He won overall based on points in the past 15 races, and the 62 car just had the fewest DNS. Going through the rest of the drivers on the grid, Brett Pritchard, Gabron, Douglas, Marie, Porter, Mann, and Weathers all won based off of points. The remaining drivers, Gunnarsson, DeLusso, Meyer, Osborne, and Johnson, all had to win based off of points. Based off of our other drivers, where we have them set up on the grid, Yoakum, kind of a little bit of a money thing. It's a $1,000 bonus to the versus drivers to win against the driver they're put up against.
Drivers, start your engines.
As the command has been fired, they will continue along with this. Yoakum currently is set ahead of Kyle Keith. Sanders is currently set ahead of Ernesto. Chevy's didn't qualify too well this race, huh?
No, Chevy seemed to have struggled with DeLusso all the way in 32nd, and Porter's even 26th. So, kind of hoping that they can rebound, get up front as soon as possible.
Pretty cloudy afternoon. That means one thing. Along with this humidity, we're going to see some higher track temperatures, and we will also see a potential increase in failures because of that. Hopefully it won't be too grueling on these cars. 40 cars, 16 chase drivers, a bunch of them up front. Talk about this chase package. You see a lot of these cars, they have that lime green roof number, banner, spoiler, and splitter, and some of them also sporting lime green rims. Easy to differentiate these cars. Fans on their feet, we have the first race in the chase. It is green flag. Anissa Johnson, chase driver, leads them into the first corner. Pretty good spot up here for two of these drivers. Chris Moore replacing previous driver who had wrecked.
Spencer Davis.
There we go. Also, Chris Davis in the first return, having an old Western Auto Racing Dodge in the 18 car.
He's a previous race winner. He has like 5 top 5s and 15 top 10s in 2 years.
Not bad at all. They're bunching up in this corner. Oh my, there's some chase drivers in contact with the 79 and 42. They are beating and banging down the backstretch. Too early for this, guys.
That's all the chasers that qualify in the back. They're trying to make their way in front as soon as they can.
Sorry about that. As you were saying?
I was saying though that Chris Davis wasn't even the best driver on his team.
Hang on, we got a big wreck. Chase drivers involved. Connor Meyer, Austin Yoakum. The 79 is involved. Not sure what happened there. I was entering turn 1. Right there. Looks like the 5 was hooked up to the 72. They were bump drafting down the backstretch. And the 5 just turned the 72 right around, and unfortunately those two Toyota's chase drivers were collected by those non-chasers. Both the 62 and 79 of Team Motorsports, also chase drivers involved. Doesn't look too... Let's see what happens here. I wouldn't say it didn't look like it was too bad of a wreck. Coming out of the Meyer operation, what's the word on the car?
A lot of rear end damage.
Still,
not sure if it'll be able to get back out there or not.
One thing's for sure, and it is at least a thing, he has still scored it in the 20th spot, not a lap down. Car's lap down only is a 78 who had to do a stop and go at the beginning of the race, and then had to do a pass-through penalty after a fast exiting pit road. He had a illegal engine in qualifying. He was forced to start the field. That is the 78 car, Western Auto Racing. Very unfortunate though for the those two Toyotas involved, at least none of them were wrecked out of the race. They are still all on the lead lap. That would have been pretty unfortunate to start off the chase like that. So pretty, I guess, lucky that that wasn't a worse wreck. The 10 car looks still pretty good. 28, well, 29, my bad, while still having some damage. Doesn't look actually too terrible. We've seen worse on some of these cars. At least it's not where the aero completely matters.
Just gotta hope that it's able to keep pace still.
We've seen cars like these run top 10. That won't be too much of a surprise. Hopefully, despite everything, 72 scores our leader right now. We'll have to see what happens when this go around next time.
Because 72 hasn't just pitted yet.
A man who's got to be disappointed here today, especially having a good run like he is Titus Strobelabber, after being involved in a wreck last week at Charlotte, was unable to transfer into the chase. And look at him running fourth today ahead of most of the chase drivers. That's got to be kicking yourself.
Yeah, I mean, he was involved in that early wreck last week that took him out, and he was about 13 points outside of the 30th place cutoff.
13 points would have been the difference if he had stayed out and gotten those positions back. He would have been in the chase tonight and would have been the third Manco Motorsports car. Highest placed chase driver in the moment is Brett Pritchard out of Meyer Toyota Racing. Fun fact about Brett Pritchard leading the chase: he is the only driver in FARCA history to win championships. So this is a driver you're going to have to keep your eye on all chase season long. He's the only driver to ever win a championship with us.
It's a streak I'm sure he'd like to keep going.
Lots of money, that's what keeps that team operating still efficiently. They have lots of funds to back up from those championships. Very nice, easy way to get sponsors and an easy way to retain a driver. Overall, it's just a win-win situation. You want to keep winning.
Looks like the top four haven't pitted.
They indeed have not, actually. Those drivers elected to stay out. Some strategy at play. Lights on the pace car are out. Sometimes they duck in right here. Let's see what happens. Looks like they will not. Not a bad decision. We'll see what becomes of this as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Kenny Van Buren is damaged 72 after causing the yellow flag, leads us into turn 1.
Well, I guess that's one way to get the lead, is just to cause an accident and stay out.
Yeah, it's Spin Gate 2.0. From the regular leaders before the pits, stay nice and bunched up. Lots of chase drivers right here. 3 wide, 2 lanes back. Dodgers working together, pushing themselves through the corner.
Dodge had a lot of laps last week, but ended up losing.
Lots of opportunities to reclaim any of that could have been won or lost. The car that is below the racing surface, that is the 72 of Kenny Van Buren. Not sure if there may be an issue going on with that car. We will wait to hear what is going on with that. Meanwhile, Russ Blackwell of Keith Motorsports has just taken the lead from Brett Pritchard in the 51.
Now, if there's another caution, these three right here are in good position because everybody else is probably going to pit also.
They're going to have to at one point. If not, I mean, it was still pretty early in the race, so I don't think it'll make too much of a difference as long as that we don't have an extremely long run. I hold my tongue here as Anissa Johnson pushes the 51 down the back stretch.
That's two teams that don't exactly like each other.
No, and right here, this is a big race that matters. The last race, we will cut off a few drivers and reset points for the final race. I think that was a smart move. He knows she's being aggressive right now, not a chance to want to lose that race car or cause anything more. One to stand up against that, though. Man, a lot of these Dodges and Toyotas getting close to each other right now. Two gals. Johnson and Marie. Marie on the quarter panel there, leading the corner. 51 may step down, but she's not.
Definitely not be surprised if those are wrecked in this little group right here.
Would not either. Good hard racing. Leading this race is still the 55. That is Russ Blackwell. This is
two non-chasers leading a group of chasers.
Second non-chaser being Titus. Anissa, followed by Sanders. Side by side is Marie and Douglas. Man, Richard, Gabron, Weathers. Pretty good race going on right here for Benjamin Thomas, entering into the top 10 right now.
Yeah, he's had probably the worst luck you could possibly have over the last month.
We were finally praising him for how well he was racing at Charlotte, and then he was involved in the second big one. That took him, DNF'd him right out of the race. He was right above the cutoff line, too, to enter in the chase, so it was like the last chance he needed to be able to get in. Of course, because of that, was unable to.
And right behind him is the 35, who won last week to get into the chase.
Teddy Weathers and the Dude Wipes Toyota, that dude has been driven fast. After coming off of such a strong win, this is a great race for him to keep making ground. The 91 car, after that last restart too, was catching his lap back. All 40 cars are still on the lead lap. I think this is the longest we haven't had a car go a lap down before. He said
you have a short close
on the lead lap as well, and has made his way back to the 13th spot. What a comeback from that car. 2 penalties, multiple laps down. It's good news for that team. What a good effort from him. Here's the driver, Trenton Pearson.
I'm sure he's one of those drivers racing for a job next year.
On the line after quite the moves him and Luis made at Knoxville, destroying 2 race cars for that organization. Both of them have not been re-signed. The only driver that is re-signed is the teammate that is in the chase. That is Anissa Johnson. Sporting the 21 car's paint scheme. They threw that car as her car for this weekend just because of the performance. They wanted to make sure that she had the best equipment possible for the chase.
Proving it right so far.
Running well. That is in the scoring of the update. That shows her in the 13th position. There we go, 14th position as it updates. Something happened with Tim Salmon. That is a 91 car. Maybe not Tim Salmon. Some major damage to the 95. Sure as to what really brought out this caution. Hang
I
on,
think
there we
95
go.
has damage from the first wreck.
42. Right here. Stopped on the racetrack. Something happened to that car. He was exiting. He just got off the race surface. Something failed. That's a chase driver. That's Kyle Keith, who actually leading the points. To which that's
a very
rather
strange failure.
unfortunate. So that means to Mr. Sanders, my bad, to Austin Yoakum, the number 10 car, congratulations. As far as this goes, you get your grand.
A little extra spending money.
Don't have those Chevys out yet, though they are starting to cat. Currently scored in the lead is the 21 car of Aaron Douglas, the 88. For some reason showing in the 30th
You're
spot.
looking at fastest lap.
Oh, okay, there we go. Appreciate that. A word from 93 team. That is Kevin Campbell. There was a blown engine that happened to his car. 42, we're still waiting to hear what's gone on with him.
It's all Dodges and Toyotas up front.
Lots of Dodges and Toyotas.
And then a couple of Fords right in the middle.
Dodge got the top 4, followed by 2 Yoders. It's Chris Moore, Aaron Braun proceeding. Dude Webster.
We're on the only Ford in the chase.
Yeah, the only Ford, man. I mean, they've had the worst season manufacturer-wise. One win is all they could get out of that organization. They have been in countless wrecks the past few weeks. They were in the first rest.
Arguably their best car, their driver got injured, and that was the 30, Spencer Davis.
Would have been really good to have that car into the chase. It's highly unfortunate they were unable to make that happen. Chris Moore, though, has done a great job taking that ride over. With the momentum he's been driving, I wouldn't be surprised if he replaced one of the lower drivers in that team next year.
Yeah, I mean, the 72 might be his landing spot.
Lights on that Dodge pace car are out. We will be going green this time by lap 24 out of 67. It's the Rockstar Energy Drink 60. Sun peeking down. Drivers shifting to lower gear. They are ready. Bunching up. I can't really say I could predict anything that's going to happen. Dodge seems to be having quite a nice little run again, so we'll see what happens to them. They've got 3 of their chase cars riding up front, and Manco Motorsports is 88. Heading back to the green flag, Titus Douglas leading to the first corner.
Tony was trying to move around that 88 as fast as possible.
Nice clean restart for the field.
The 88 moved out of those other Dodge Chasers, got out their way.
Sure did. Didn't want to be holding them up or anything like that. Of course, they are racing for something that's quite important. Got the 2 brothers leading the race. Johnson following Marie. Forget there are a few other chasers all behind them. Thor Gunderson, the other Manco Motorsports car. The 36. Joey Sanders.
There's the 12 also of Aaron Gabron.
He's been silent fast. He's in a really good spot. He probably just wants to stick there. Look at that, man. Dodge is pushing down the backstretch. Trying to check out, but drafting well as a 92 car.
Saw earlier though what happens if you link up wrong. You'll just turn the lead car up into the wall.
It's quite the risk, but remember these Dodges have very flat noses. They're using that as an advantage point. Joining in this pushing link, that is a 92. She's had problems with both these drivers. She wants them the hell out of her way. Trying to shake up the draft. Those 2 Dodges moved up the track. She's not falling for the tricks though. Sanders and Gabron have moved up. She went high and faked it. Big man bought it. She moves to the 2nd spot now. Two purple cars trying to lead this thing. I think this will lead us on a good time to blast it. Be right back with you guys. You have went bad. You actually need to grab it too bad. You're slowly moving up actually, just happy with the way the car's moving. I don't know why it seemed filed out so much. that would lock me into the final. Oh, because Caitlin just moved in second. For real. That fucker just straight up turned me. I didn't notice, Adam. Do you see the name on Thor Gunderson? So it's like Windows painted written. Wait, really? Oh, that's amazing. I did not. Oh, I did. Amazing. Alright, you ready to go back? Always nice to listen to those cars. While we were away, the halfway bonus point was elected to the 21 car Western Auto Racing. That is Aaron Douglas, chase driver, leading this thing. 4 chase drivers, we'll read them off as we go. Caitlin Bree is behind in second. In third place, Big Man is in the 8 for Auto Owners Insurance. Fourth place, we have Aaron DeBron. Riding in the 7th place is Joey Sanders in the Racers Toyota, followed by Timmy Weathers, another Supreme Motorsports car. On behind in the 11th spot, that's Thor Gunderson and the number 1 Dodge. 12th, we have Anissa Johnson in the 27 Dodge. 14th, we have Ernesto in the 60. Deluso following behind in the 62. Yoakum 10. Meyer in the 29. With all that damage, has moved up to the top 20. 2 cars following behind and short running in the pack. In 35th is the 24 car of Scott Porter. The 42 car of Kyle Keith is in 36. That's highly unfortunate. Keith Motorsports came into this race with a huge head of steam, and they're struggling.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least they were able to get the 42 back on track.
They got very lucky with that, despite having his car failing on the race surface. Speaking of failures, announced, the 87 car of Western Auto Racing had put an engine. Especially leading, are going to be worried about that. Nice big lead currently. Looks like tire fall off on the 92. It's really struggling right now. The 8 car and surprisingly the 9 car right behind her.
Yeah, the 9 has really come up through the field the last few laps.
Not bad at all from Lubricar Motorsports. Benjamin Thomas getting a break he's always wanted or needed. "28 laps to go here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Looking like a pretty interesting race as we're starting to get up to lap traffic. It's our first race of the chase. We've had 2 cautions so far as we approach Tim Salmon in the Pennzoil Dodge. Drivers trying to decide what lines they want to use to get around him. Marie swings low, Douglas goes high. 91 through the block to that Toyota. That killed her run on the 21 car. Obviously that was done on purpose. 35 though is moving up with the other Supreme Motorsports cars right behind him.
That's 3 of the Supreme cars getting held up by the 91 now.
Then trying to help that car lap down, notices he's too far at pace and said not worth the time, moves right on by. After falling back a bit, Mrs. Johnson in her 27 car, she's trying to move back up the field. Braun, though, as the other Fords are there, he's currently struggling. He has been losing positions. 29, Meyer wastes no time. Gets right around him and makes a move on the 22 at the same time.
And even with the damage, that car still has some speed in it.
In a race like it is right now, you can't risk a bad position. He's trying to capitalize that and make some ground on the Keith cars that are laps down. It's exactly what he wants to do. For these guys, every position counts as a position towards gaining and passing one another in their chase. And where he originally was 22nd in that wreck, Meyer has moved into the top 15. Teammate, that is Caitlin, now pushing the 21 down the backstretch.
Toyota pushing a Dodge while the Dodge pushed a Toyota behind him.
I noticed that. And two of them are black and two of them are purple. What's going on? Yeah, she's trying to look on the pass. But blocking is the 21. He is mirror driving that car down the backstretch, changing lanes. They want this win that will secure them into Texas.
Yeah, Douglas is having a good bounce back after he was dumped by the 00 last week.
After being in the top 4, he was having a nice, strong race, was going to start higher, potentially even had a shot at winning the race. With 15 to go, he got turned around. That was an obvious retaliation that had happened. Caitlin, man, she is giving it all she can. She's going to let Sanders have a go at it. And focus on blocking big man. Three of Supreme cars. All racing up here in the top 10. Two of those chase drivers, though. Regular season champion Sanders moving into the top 5. And after Marie let him on by, Weathers trying to work on the 21 car, seeing that he can move himself around him now.
Yeah, the Toyotas working together, trying to get the fastest one up front.
Nothing ever wrong with that, man. A manufacturer win's a manufacturer win, especially with that being a satellite team. 35 struggling to keep up with that. Big man moves up to the bumper with that Marie, trying to get the 8 car off the bumper of the 35. All these cars trying to work together. Toyota, though, is really outnumbered the Dodgers here, but the Dodgers are really trying to prevail. Some contact there. The 92 was hooked up to the 8 car. Moved him down the lane and was able to get him off the 35 from that. Very, I guess I should say, playable move. Can't say it was dirty because she backed off.
So the 36 and probably the 37 go by now.
She did her part, played her aggression. The faster cars of Supreme Motorsports, they've known for their powerhouse engines all season long. Dodge currently still leading this race. Douglas has led races like this before, and he has been passed at the end. And a driver who is really good at making last-minute moves, that is Mr. Timmy Weathers, following right behind him. He sniped a win last week at Charlotte. Sanders, who is dominant, Some feel-good stories. Chris Moore regained his spots. Thomas still here.
Yeah, he kind of got cut up around the 91, but he's moving his way back up again through the field.
Hopefully nothing's wrong with that 92 car. She's been moving back a little bit. In further developments, another chase driver who's had a bad day, the 79 car out of Team Motorsports, Justin Osborne, has blown an engine.
It's one Ford, one Dodge, and now one Chevy.
That leads Ford next on the chain. Supreme Motorsports, though, is just having a heyday. They've got 3 of their cars in the top 5 right now. And they are moving up fast on the 8 car and the 21 car.
I think if all 3 of those cars could probably get lined up, they'd be able to get past the 21.
That's really what they need. This 8 car is really doing a good job of holding the 35 back and keeping the other 2 cars at bay. That is big man. That's exactly what you got to do at a moment like this. We have 13 laps to go coming to this next flag. Douglas still leading. 36 though of Joey Sanders, who was won before. And it looks like he's able to get Vickers. That is exactly what Aaron did not want to see. He has just 3 Toyotas now behind him. And it looks like
creep back up also.
Yeah, I was just about to say she's now making the move on the 8 car as well. That would mean 4 Toyotas behind. Benjamin riding in 7th though. He's the only other Dodge that could really help them out. Sanders now, I wonder if he's going to be able to make a move around the 35. He would be the best run, if you ask me, though, to get around the 21 car. He's a little more aggressive. But Vickers is trying to make a move on the outside. And he has.
It looks like they're just kind of trying to reshuffle a little bit.
Trying to plot who's got the faster car. At least on our end, we can see that is indeed the reason why. Scott Vickers does have the fastest car against the 21 car, so ideally he would be the one to go against him. The only other 2 cars that are not up here is the 88 of Titus and the 29 of Connor. Those are the other faster cars on the racetrack right now. But then that would be interesting if he was up here, because then he could help out his teammate.
The 92 kind of fell back a little bit now.
Down to the 7th spot, the 9 car. We're even up here. We have 3 Toyotas, 3 Dodges, all trying to make the moves. 4 of these 6 are chase drivers. And here is where it gets kind of interesting. The 35 car does have the back bumper now to the 21. Sanders just denied passing of his own teammate. The 92 car is recaught and is currently passing Ben. We have 7 Toyotas and Dodges up here now. It is all Toyota versus Dodge.
The 30 car is still kind of lurking back there.
He's got about a half a second behind the 92 car in this field. She was able to move around the 9, but they kind of broke away from pack there. But they should be able to recatch the drafts across, as she already has. She dove right into that corner and made it stick. Less than 10 laps to go. The 21 still uncatchable from the 35 and 36 behind them. Supreme Motorsports, all but the 10 car are here. With Sanders leading this high up, that means he's ahead of Ernesto. That means $2,000 will be awarded on the versus battles to Supreme Motorsports for winning both of them. That goes a long way. That
The real
pays
thing they want to win.
But hey, man,
This
sets of
race.
tires to sets of tires. That could be a huge difference. Speaking of a win, we are approaching lap traffic number 91 of Tim Salmon. The 35 is peaking on the inside of the 21. Lane choices will be the difference here. Who will go where? To the outside is the 21 car, 35 to the inside. No hold up to the leaders. Having to make it stick on the inside, though, is going to be the 35's kryptonite of worn tires. 91 blocking those Toyotas as much as he can. With the draft, though, the 35 will catch and have a run, so this will be interesting. Let's just hope they don't wreck back here. He is bunching these drivers up, trying to make sure the 21 car wins, holding up the other Toyotas. Half a second is all that remains between the 35 and 21. We will have 3 laps to go. That is enough time. He just needs to keep the momentum rolling. And pray no caution. More lap traffic approaching. This time, it is a Toyota. So the story will be a little
see what happens here.
That is Quinn Izo, that damaged 95. Throws the block on the 21, forces him down to the inside. That will hurt him. And immediately catching up by 10th. Unfortunately, we are under a yellow. It is the 62 car that will end this race. And we had a big crash to end it too after he blew an engine. He got hit. None other. Oh, he actually didn't hit him. It was a 24. I would have sworn Cresta hit him. Oh, big hit from the 86. And then the 577. He just kept hit. Man, that's unfortunate. Nobody likes rides like that.
Yeah, Chevy had a rough day.
But because of that flag, and man, they had another issue. I think they continued to wreck after that. Nah, it was just the cars trying to pit around the racetrack. Fuel, though. Who had enough? Did they have enough fuel? Because some cars had to force pit. One of those. As they stand on the white flag, that is Aaron Douglas leading this race. Hopefully nothing goes wrong to have to pit. 35 car follows behind. That is Timmy Weathers, last week's winner. Joey Sanders, our regular season champion, follows with Caitlin Murray, the 92. Chris Moore, Ford Gunderson, Ryan DeLusso, Benjamin Thomas, Big Man, and Aaron Vaughn finish out her top 10. Surprisingly, Langelier came back and finished 11th. Scott Vickers follows behind. Anissa Johnson, 27. Connor Meyer is 14th after being wrecked in the first caution. Titus rounds out your top 15. Other chase drivers throughout the race. The 24 car finishes 36. 51 car. Brett Pritchard finishes 20th.
Yoakum had a bad race also. So the first wreck.
So as the across the line and officially scored. Our first race of the chase ends under yellow, top 4 all chase drivers. Aaron Douglas gets the second win of the season and the second for Western Auto Racing. There's a trend that happens not only once but twice. Dodge typically wins 2 weeks in a row. We will see what happens next week as we head back to California, where Dodge also dominated earlier this season. We'll head to Sonoma Raceway for the second and last road course. Previous road course winner, who won her first and only race there, was Caitlin Marie, who had a very strong race today. So I suspect we'll see the same thing next week, Toyota versus Dodge. What do you take after this one?
Chevy has to turn it around. They had one of their cars in the top 10 and the rest finished below 30th pretty much.
Pretty good race here. Anything else you would take away?
Whether or not Dodge can keep that trend going with win back to back.
They've got other
they've
drivers.
Done it twice.
They've got more they need locked in. At least they have one of the 4 spots that they could actually gain for transferring into Texas. Only 4 cars, if they can win once, will secure a win. One of those spots now awarded to Dodge for Western Auto Racing. As we continue throughout the chase, all 16 cars will remain, and then we will drop a few once we reach Texas. Reset points again. Chase drivers will all start at the front positions in their reversed points order for the Texas race. And being our first race from Speed, we want to thank you guys for joining us. We were more than happy to put this on for you. We will see you guys next week in the hot summer of California.